and the Golden State Warriors to determine a number 8 seed in the Western Conference. And it's all happening at Chase Center where the Warriors can go 6-0 on the 6-game homestand as we are live at Chase Center on Warriors Pregame Live presented by Comcast Business with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, NBA champion, former Warrior Darrell Wright. And it all comes down to this, Mullin and D. Wright. Who wants the number 8 seed? Who wants to go on the road Wednesday and possibly get the home game Friday if they do lose Wednesday?
Well, you see number 30 there, right?
Yep.
So that's where I'm going. Curry, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, championship pedigree, DNA. They're made for the pressure moments. Let's go, Darrell.
Let's go, baby. The biggest game at Chase Center yet. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a showdown. But like I said, Bonte, when Steph Curry is in the building, I'm rolling with him.
No doubt about it. Ja Morant, Valanciunas, Jaren Jackson Jr., they're going to have something to say about it. Ja tweeted last night or on Instagram said, over here on Warriors Playoff Central, beginning on Wednesday, wall-to-wall coverage here at NBC Sports Bay Area as we take a look at the Western Conference playoff bracket here. And right now, the winner of this game will play the LA Lakers. However, the Lakers, there's a lot that could happen here in the Western Conference, Willie and D, right? Portland's playing Denver today. The Lakers are playing New Orleans, and the Clippers are deciding whether or not to tank against OKC to avoid the Lakers in the first round. So who knows what this map is going to look like tonight when it's all said and done here. But the Warriors just need to worry about themselves, right? Worry about themselves, and they'll play whoever because, as we talked about all week long, whether it's the Lakers, whether it's the Blazers, Warriors are playing some good basketball right now. People are going to fear number 30 Steph Curry and the Warriors.
Absolutely. They're playing the best basketball of the season. Perfect timing with the 6-game homestand. Here's number 6 to go 6-0 on this tremendous homestand. But like you said, Bonte, most importantly, they're playing the best basketball season right now.
Yeah, and they've been taking care of home. They've been playing some great basketball on their home court. So I can see the Warriors coming out tonight being aggressive and understanding how important this game is. And I'm expecting those leaders, those champions, to lead these young kids to, that play-in game, to that A spot.
No doubt about it, Willie and D. Right. Let's take a look at the Warriors starting lineup presented by Ford here. And no changes here. We know what they're rolling with. Kent Bazemore's going to start at the 2 again. We'll see who he defends coming out. Will he defend Ja, or will it be Andrew Wiggins? Draymond Green having a hell of a run the last 2 months ever since he got tossed out of that game against the Charlotte Hornets. And Looney has been solid as well. We're going to go to Carisburg and Monty Poole on the Ja versus Steph matchup powered by Cisco WebEx.
Well, Monty, we know this is the first time Steph Curry and Ja Morant are going to be on the court at the same time. In Ja's rookie season, that's when he won Rookie of the Year. Steph had the broken hand. They've never faced each other. So are you expecting fireworks today?
I am, because Ja is that way. I mean, he's a lot like Russell Westbrook in the sense that he is nonstop all the time, full go, and he leads that Grizzlies team. And the thing I love about Ja is that he is absolutely fearless. When James Harden didn't guard him, this was a guy 2 months into his rookie season, and he hits a 3 over James Harden and maybe barks at him. I mean, James Harden's an MVP. So you look at a guy like Steph, and I know Ja and Steph have had their social media little, conversations and got that straightened out. But this is a case of the young upstart, the young prince, you might say, coming at the king, because let's face it, Steph's going to win another scoring title today. So this is the kind of fireworks you want to see in a game that means so much to both teams.
Well, you're right, because Ja tried to come at Draymond Green earlier this season. Remember, he tried to dunk on him, so he's definitely fearless. Ja has explained that he has studied Steph Curry as well. That's what you have to do when you want to be one of the best point guards in the league. From Steph's perspective, he had a lot of compliments for Ja. He said he's athletic, crafty, confident. I get the sense Steph really likes matching up against the younger guys to show them who's the king on these courts.
No, I think you're right. And they also have in common the fact that they're both from mid-majors, and people kind of question that they have the right competition coming into the NBA. You have the same thing, that same fire in the belly you might find in a guy like Damian Lillard from Weber State or CJ McCollum from Lehigh. You got Steph from Davidson. You've got Ja from Murray State. So these are guys who come into the league feel like they had something to prove because they didn't play for Michigan or UCLA or Duke or anybody. So, yeah, they have that in common. But the bottom line here is that I think whichever guy has the best team or the best game, his team is going to win the game.
How do you even describe the stakes today? Maybe the personal ones, but also, for advancement in the playoffs.
Well, the Warriors want to be able to go one and done. If they win today, and if they win on Wednesday, they're in. I mean, If you win this game today, honestly, it keeps you from having to win 2 or 3 games to get into the playoffs. And they're that close. So the bottom line for these guys is that win today, and then play one more game and then get that number 7 seed.
All right, a playoff game today is that kind of atmosphere. Steve Kerr saying we have to win 2 out of the next 3.
This Sportsnet Central update is presented by Atlantis Casino Resort Spa Reno.
All right, let's take a look to see what's going on in Washington, D.C. Bradley Beal back after missing 3 games with a hamstring strain. He's got 15 points right now, and he's not shooting the ball well. 5 for 20 from the floor. The hamstring's still bothering him. You see him pulling off the tape there. And if he ended with 15 points, that means Steph Curry would have to score 0. That's right, 0. If he wants to win the scoring title, that's the up-to-the-date standings right there. Up to the second scoring leader, Steph leading away with 31.8. But if Steph scores nothing and secures the scoring title, it's going to mean that they're not going to win this game. The Warriors need Steph to score and score a lot here, Darrell.
Yeah, and I think Steph Curry is going to come out aggressive from the start. We know the last 2 games he struggled from the 3-point line. Every time he struggles back-to-back games, that 3rd game he always comes out on fire. So I got Steph Curry getting that 15 points in the first quarter, and I'm going to go with 40 points tonight.
Steph Curry's going to win a scoring title, but that's second on his to-do list. Tonight's to win this game against the Memphis Grizzlies, contain Ja Morant. But what's more amazing is the way he's done it. His efficiency numbers, close to 50, 40, 90. The defenses that he's faced each and every night, double and triple teams. And maybe more impressive, the win total. Last year, this team won 15 games total. Now they're 6 games over 500.
Right.
So that's a huge difference. That's why I feel he's the MVP of the league.
And how about Steph Curry when he's in the lineup for the Warriors? They're 10 games over 500. As we'll look a little bit later and look at the best of Steph Curry from this season, his top 10 moments on the season here. And look, he wins the scoring title. We know it's second on the to-do list. But then he wins the scoring title. He joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and Will Chamberlain as the only players in NBA history that win multiple scoring titles, multiple MVPs, and multiple championships. So it has been a special year. But Steph wants to prove to the young fella who he's going to see for the first time, Ja Morant, that look, I'm still the best PG out here. This is my league, and this is what I do when it comes to playoff time, Darrell.
Yeah, and Steph Curry is that guy that does it with his game. He doesn't have to say one word. We all know what time it is. And Steph Curry, it's a big game for him. It's a big game for this team and his organization. So he is going to come out and prove to everybody around the world that, hey, if I'm on the court, we're going to come out, we're going to compete at a high level, and I'm going to put this team on my back. So I can't wait to see him tonight.
The established MVP, superstar, global icon, Steph Curry, and you have Ja Morant, the up-and-coming superstar, much like Russell Westbrook, probably the best point guard athletically in the league with Russell Westbrook. He's trying to make a point. From the Warriors defense, someone has to say, nah, to Ja. Not today.
Nah, Ja. I like that, buddy. That's pretty damn good right there. We'll talk a little Ja Morant a little bit later in the program. But we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame and what happened yesterday. Steph Curry spoke about Kobe Bryant and shared his memories. Plus, Tim Curry, when he's in the lineup for the Warriors, they're 10 games over 500. As we'll look a little bit later and look at the best of Steph Curry from this season, his top 10 moments on the season here. And look, he wins the scoring title. We know it's second on the to-do list. But then he wins the scoring title. He joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and Will Chamberlain as the only players in NBA history that win multiple scoring titles, multiple MVPs, and multiple championships. So it has been a special year. But Steph wants to prove to the young fella who he's going to see for the first time, Ja Morant, that look, I'm still the best PG out here. This is my league, and this is what I do when it comes to playoff time, Darrell.
Yeah, and Steph Curry is that guy that does it with his game. He doesn't have to say one word. We all know what time it is. And Steph Curry, it's a big game for him. It's a big game for this team and his organization. So he is going to come out and prove to everybody around the world that, hey, if I'm on the court, we're going to come out, we're going to compete at a high level, and I'm going to put this team on my back. So I can't wait to see him tonight.
The established MVP, superstar, global icon, Steph Curry, and you have Ja Morant, the up-and-coming superstar, much like Russell Westbrook, probably the best point guard athletically in the league with Russell Westbrook. He's trying to make a point. From the Warriors defense, someone has to say, nah, to Ja. Not today.
Nah, Ja. I like that, buddy. That's pretty damn good right there. We'll talk a little Ja Morant a little bit later in the program. But we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame and what happened yesterday. Steph Curry spoke about Kobe Bryant and shared his memories. Plus, Tim Hardaway Sr. Did he get snubbed from the nation?
Comcast Business. powering possibilities.
All right, every connection counts, courtesy of Comcast Business, and we're connecting to yesterday in Springfield, Massachusetts, where Vanessa Bryant, the wife of Kobe, who left us back on January 26th of 2020, inducted Kobe Bryant into the Hall of Fame and spoke on his behalf in a phenomenal speech, and Vanessa showed great strength. Natalia was there, Kobe's oldest daughter, and of course we're going to talk to Darrell and Millie about Kobe Bryant, but let's hear from Steph Curry on his memories of the late, great Kobe Bryant.
Again, it's still surreal to celebrate his career and impact and a major accomplishment milestone of being selected into the Hall of Fame, which was a foregone conclusion. But in terms of any opportunity you go to watch a highlight or watch an interview he did or remember where you were when you were watching a game, those type of moments, they still mean everything. I don't know when, if ever, it'll sink in that he's not here, but in terms of any moment you have to celebrate him and kind of go back in the past and relive some of those moments that he accomplished on and off the court, it always stops you in your tracks a little bit.
It's still surreal for all three of us here at NBC Sports Bay Area, everybody with Kobe Bryant here. And I'm going to start with Darrell right here because he's from LA, and I saw a picture you posted on Instagram yesterday walking off the floor with Kobe Bryant with him. Looks like giving you words of encouragement. Still doesn't feel like he's gone. He's an icon here. So just share your memories of growing up in LA, watching Kobe Bryant, and what it was like to go against Kobe Bryant when you were playing in the NBA.
Well, growing up in LA, being able to have an opportunity to watch Kobe Bryant and those great Laker teams, it showed me something. It showed me something where I can grow up and kind of be like, you know what I mean? Model my game, his work ethic, all those different things that I saw as a kid. And then once I got to the NBA and being able to compete against Kobe Bryant was even more surreal because, it's somebody I watched, somebody I admired, and I was able to compete against him and gain his respect. And that's one thing every young player want to do is gain some of the greats' respect, and I did that. And, I miss him. The whole world still surreal about the whole situation, but it was a beautiful tribute to Kobe, and I'm glad his wife and kids were able to, stand strong and speak on his behalf.
Yesterday was such a special ceremony, one of the strongest classes ever to go into the Hall of Fame as a group. Of course, Kobe Bryant stood out as the featured player, and it is hard to believe that he's not here, but that's a testament to the impact he had on basketball and way beyond basketball. He was a young player that came into this league, some would say with unrealistic, lofty goals. He achieved them all the while lifting the role players that he played with to 5 championships. He tried to emulate the greatest player of all time, which some thought was a cocky chore to take on. He did exactly that. So his impact is way beyond basketball. It was a beautiful ceremony yesterday. Congratulations to that class. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
No doubt about it. And one member who didn't make the Hall of Fame today was Tim Hardaway Sr., your former teammate, Willie. Look, here in the Bay Area, we love Tim Hardaway Sr. We saw the career that he had, and hopefully one day he does get into the Hall of Fame. But he was snubbed this morning. Chris Webber made it, Chris Bosh, Ben Wallace, among others. But Tim Hardaway Sr., again, not inducted into the Hall of Fame. So hopefully in the next few years, he gets his moment to shine.
Tim Hardaway will be in the
website with an over-under set at 230.5. Warriors are 22-12 in their last 34 home games. And for more information like this, check out NBCSportsEdge.com. Now let's hear from the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr, on tonight's matchup versus the Grizzlies.
We are looking at it as our first playoff game. That's how we addressed the team yesterday. We're in a situation where we've got to find a way to win 2 out of 3 games, and that's the plan. That's the goal. So there's a different vibe in the air this morning. 12:30 start. That usually only happens, during the playoffs, and so it's a different routine, different vibe, and I think everybody's really excited for the opportunity.
All right, we're going to give some credit here in just a second here on how to contain the Grizzlies. And before we get to Ja Morant, It's about keeping Valanciunas off the boards. 32 rebounds in those first two matchups back on March 19th and March 20th. How did the Warriors do that tonight, Darrell?
I think the biggest thing is taking him off the offensive glass. He really gets going when he's on the offensive glass, when he's getting those deep post-ups, and he's able to use his right and left jump hook. So it's going to be super important for Looney and Draymond to, do what they did against the Joker and Embiid. It's the same type of player. He can really go down there and get 20 and 10 on any given night.
Playoff atmosphere. This is the first playoff game. That's how the Warriors are approaching it. You need the stars to be stars, role players play solid, and you got to get back to fundamentals, which means defensive rebounding. Take care of the turnovers. Defend without fouling. Those are the things that are going to win the game or lose the game.
No doubt, and we'll talk about the others in just a second. Let's give a little credit, courtesy of Provident Credit Union, our great friends at Provident Credit Union. Let's give some credit to Ja Morant, who's had a nice little sophomore season. No doubt about it, averaging 19 points and 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 45% from the floor, but 30% from the three-point line. And Darrell, the Warriors did a good job in the first two matchups of containing Ja Morant. He was a combined 11 for 32 in those two games and 28 points.
I think the biggest thing with Ja Morant, you have to load up on him in transition. Show him bodies because he can get to the paint with ease. So show him bodies and make him a shooter.
Dynamic athlete, incredible playmaker. He's the engine for this Memphis Grizzlies offense. As Darrell said, contain him in transition. Scouting report, you'd rather have him shooting jump shots than attacking the paint. That's where he's going to be able to throw lobs and get his teammates involved.
Who's going to open up on Ja Morant for the Warriors if you're the head coach, Chris?
I think Kent Bazemore with his length, but as Darrell said, he needs to see bodies every time he looks to drive to the floor.
And Wiggins, what do you do with Wiggins here? Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, you put him on them?
Dylan Brooks is one of those guys, if he gets hot, he's going to feel good and he's going to make shots all night.
All right, man, let's go to the crossover here with the gentleman calling tonight's action, Bob Fitzgerald and Kalina Azubuike. And in the short history of Chase Center, this is the biggest game in Chase Center history until next week when the Warriors are possibly in the first round of the playoffs. But we're seeing Ja and the Grizzlies here. And back on March 19th and 20th, the Warriors did a good job of containing Ja Morant, Kalina. How do they do that again tonight without Kelly Oubre Jr.?
The guys were just talking about it, and Molly was just in here. We were talking about how we love length against Ja Morant. If I'm guarding Ja Morant, I'm going under all his screens. I'm gapping him just a little bit. He has been shooting the three ball just a little better lately.
I want to see him make them.
But you want to see him make them. He gets to the paint, and that's where he causes all kinds of havoc, and he is scary explosive. So you definitely want to gap him, and that's what we were just talking about.
Now, and D. Wright, you just hit on it with Dylan Brooks. I think when he makes his first two shots, he scares both coaches because you're afraid he's going to make 10 in a row, and then Memphis has seen him miss 10 in a row. He is the X factor, but I think it's always a good idea to guard that type of guy early so he doesn't start to feel himself for a game.
Yeah, Fitz, he's that type of guy you have to pay attention to. You can't give him any feel-good shots to get him going. So run him off that three-point line. I will make him a playmaker and a finisher because he doesn't do that well. So run him off the three-point line and don't let him feel good.
Just in general, I think the Warriors' mentality tonight has to be we got to clog up the paint. This is the number one team when it comes to paint points. You talked about the second chance points. They get a ton of those. Offensive rebounding for them is huge. But this is an early game, and you don't want to come out sluggish in a big-time game like this with high stakes. So, Mully, in early games, what was your preparation like? Because I remember coming to early games, you don't get the shoot-around, so you want to come out. Your preparation, you stay somewhat the same, but during your pregame workout, I'd like to get a little more lathered up, go a little harder just so I'm prepared so I can come out hard and start out of the gates really fast. What was your pregame ritual like before the early games, Mully?
Well, Buki and Fitz, it's May, it's Sunday, it's 12:30. That means it's playoff time. And come playoff time, you listen to the scouting report, play the percentages, make the non-shooters shoot. We've talked about containing Ja Morant. That's in the half court, maybe more importantly in transition, showing bodies. But the defensive transition starts with a proper offensive possession. Good shot selection, right? Floor balance. And when he is out in transition, let him see bodies.
All right, so Bradley Beal, real quick, Fitz, finished with 25 points. That means Steph Curry needs 4 to win his second scoring title and join Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, and Michael Jordan as the only players in NBA history to win multiple scoring titles, championships, and, of course, MVPs. You guys have a great call today.
Well, we appreciate it. And when you look at it, a scoring title for Steph, and then Steve Kerr said you got to win 2 games this week. You might as well win this one and then get into that play-in tournament. I look at the way the league is. The last day of the season, all 30 teams are in action. It matters for so many different teams. I think this is just how the NBA would want it.
It's perfect for the NBA. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Great stories, high intrigue all around the league for the 7-8 spots, the play-in tournament. I'm excited about it. For the Warriors, they've been playing well lately, right? They've won the 5 in a row. You want to finish it off tonight. Big-time game. You need a big-time performance from everyone.
All right, so a little bit of homework assignment. When you look at the Chase playoff update, make your little brackets at home, because none of this is solid until the games are in the books today and tonight. But you could play the Lakers in round 1. The difference in 8-9, though, is getting 2 shots at it versus only 1.
It's valuable. And if you listen to guys like Ja Morant, he's locked in. Steph's always locked in. I'm sure he's looking to play big tonight. But everybody wants to get that 7-8 spot, right? Because you only have to win one time, and you get 2 shots at it. Super valuable.
And for the Warriors, this is one where Steph Curry, Draymond Green, championship DNA would go to the forefront. And the way Steph has been bottled up the couple times earlier this week, you would think that he would have a phenomenal game. Our BMW Ultimate Performers, let's see, Curry, pressure, big stage. I like the combo.
Yes, he's due for a big-time three-point shooting night, and he can make crazy tough shots. The quick release is there. He's going to be moving without the ball. They'll start him off the ball sometimes. You'll see some double teams, and he's going to pass it and use his movement without the ball. So expect a big game from him.
Steph outside, but Ja Morant's a point guard that hurts you more inside and also with penetration.
Again, he has been shooting the 3-ball well lately, especially above the break threes, but you still want to see him make those. You gap him. You don't go over the top of his screens. You go under. Just make it tough for him to get into the paint. Stop penetration. That's going to be one of the keys.
A lot of productivity for both of them. They've never played against each other. This will be something to watch. But really, when we get to Ja Morant and Steph, you talk about Draymond Green, all these other guys we're aware of, keep an eye on the 2 X factors, because after everybody has played to their level, Dillon Brooks or Andrew Wiggins, either one has a big game, you like that team's chances.
Right. Dillon Brooks, it's just like you said, once he's playing well, his team seems to play well. He likes to try to get off to quick starts, kind of a streaky shooter. When he makes his first shot, it's like, okay, what's going to happen with this guy? Because he's going to keep shooting. And Andrew Wiggins, again, that slow uptrend, and he's been showing he does have some heart, and he's looking to show up in a big moment tonight.
So the Warriors have won 5 in a row, 14-5 in the last 19. Memphis has won 5 out of 6. They're absolutely even record-wise. Everything is decided today. But with all the outside scoring and made shots, how about rebounding? How about size? Well, it's not the height of Draymond Green, it's the size of his heart. And the Warriors have played 8 guys, they played undersized, but rebounding the ball is a Memphis strength. We're going to break down the misses and what that may mean for today, coming up next.